Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Surefire Method titled Jackpot. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen on YouTube. This is off of their From Life EP, and we're going to listen through it from start to finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Nice automation with the volume there. The bass response though is fantastic with the drums.
Nothing's getting any better. Nothing's making any difference. The only thing that changes is the weather. I'm growing older and more distant. Sometimes I just wanna give up.
That's a heavy story though, isn't it?
Oh, my day will come. I'll have my moment in the sun. I will shine my hopes and dreams. They will be mine for the
The duality between the riffs there, how kind of low that bass is and how sort of how it's kind of weighing you down the verse sections, and then the vocals soar in this chorus part where we talk about how we will get out of this mire that we're stuck in. Yeah, I think it's clever. It's a good A-B section. Oh, gambling. Interesting use of synths here as well as Foley.
Enter the number on the paper. Check the paper for the number. Everything is still the same. But I know my day will come. I'll have my moment.
Oh, coming down for that bit right.
In the sun, I will shine my hopes and dreams. They will be mine, I believe.
Bit of vocal fry there, nice. Great use of laser or flanger there.
But I know in the sun, I will shine. They will be mine for
Damn, man. That's some heavy stuff. That's some heavy stuff within the song. I think I can personally relate to the story. I'm sure a lot of people will be able to, but we're going to talk about this track, though. More, though, in the conclusion. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Surefire Method titled Jackpot. Now, what do we think this track is about? I get the impression that it's about someone that is sort of suffering from the life that they live in, the situation they are. They feel distressed, repressed, they're unhappy, nothing changes apart from the weather, and they're basically looking for some sort of golden goose and opportunity to be able to ascend to those aspirations that they say they want to get out of the situation they're in. And I think the chorus alludes to their sort of fantasies of being wealthy and not being in that place anymore. And I think there's a lot of people that can, probably relate to wanting to have a better life, to having things you don't currently have, the want without, the grass is greener, etc. But then we go to the part when the video, I know the video was probably, I think it was AI video, if I'm not mistaken. It was kind of trippy, but I kind of enjoy the trippiness there because it almost sort of resembles the thought processes that the person is going through to cope with the predicament that they're in. Because you have the gambling and the casino sounds and the synth bits and bits of foley there, which I thought, just in case I don't mention them later on, were very, very cool. It was nice to have that in a little interlude bit, little transfer bit between the first chorus and the second verse. I think the vocals, though, are tremendously well done. It's very personable. Some really how do I describe this? They were very somber melodies. It was a performance from someone that sort of almost sounds like they might have gone through that themselves. You could hear some of the pain in their voice, especially when they get into those sort of fresh parts in the second chorus. And it was wonderfully in unison with the guitar parts in those bits, as well as if the band was completely behind them at that stage. And I think in a general sort of comment I'd make about the vocal performance is that while we had solid technique and we had some interesting melodies go on top of the various stages, I think a lot of what has made this track special was the fact that we allowed ourselves to sort of focus more on the actual sort of like the feeling, the expression of it. The expression was just as important, almost melancholic in the verses, and then there's bits of hope in the chorus that sometimes get dashed by the vocal fry at the end. The track itself is 3 minutes 54, and that's just within the 2 to 4 minute sweet spot for tracks. Typically, if you have less than 2 minutes, you might be missing some context. Unless, of course, it's like predominantly short form. And if you go longer than 4 minutes, you so often need to either have a slower track that has more time per go of the motif, or you need to add different adjustments, or just do more to sort of make it more interesting and vibrant. And what I appreciate about what we've done here is that the storytelling, in the chorus transitions and the little sort of like gambling sound bits. Well, I think there's also a solo section. It was nice to have that solo section actually as an alternative lead to what the vocals were doing. I thought that was well handled. And we expressed ourselves really neatly. And we have a piece where like the lead guitar voice has a bluesy kind of rocky resonance that works well with some of the more sort of like some of the guitar chords we had, which were like overdriven or distorted. I think they might have been distorted. There was some interesting flanging and phasing bits as well in certain parts there to sort of make it seem like a bit of an otherworldly experience there. A different texture and timbre to sort of shake up the piece and make it more intriguing and sort of compositionally and structurally as well. The bass line underneath was kind of more sort of chilled out in the early stage, but got really heavy with some distortion in the later stage and the interlude, and I think that was a smart choice there to kind of add further intensity to that low end. The drums were great. We had a nice sort of variety of different 8th and 16th note grooves there with some occasional triplets there. We were very supportive of the rest of the elements within the mix and kept things nice and tight in regards to the actual sort of like tempo of it. And yeah, I especially like some of the ride patterns that we had there were kind of sick as well, just the tippy taps on those. The way we transitioned from those into the snares and sort of worked our way around the kit as well. But yeah, it was a combination of the vocal performance, the Foley sounds of like the gambling casino and stuff like that when they were there for that one bit, and then also the guitars, bass and drums and the various layers, as well as the various sort of textural representations with clearly defined chord progressions per part of the track. They make it a really wonderful listen. And even though it's quite a heavy song and it's a bit dark, it's still nonetheless really great to listen to. It feels like a powerful piece, one that's meaningful and worth taking your time to appreciate. And they've clearly put a lot of love and effort into making it, and I appreciate that. So thank you for the solid performance as well as for making just a great song. Performatively as well as compositionally. I've got no faults with it. Again, like the way the chords soar in that chorus section there imply that we're kind of we're going up with our cries as we're going to rise out of it. But then things, of course, come back down when we realize the reality of our actual situation there. And that last pass into the outro chorus there, especially with the imagery of like the old man in the front of like a place, realizing how much they've sort of like gambled or lost. It's visceral. And I can relate to it because I know people in my life who have had issues with not only gambling, but also just not realizing why things haven't changed. And I see that in myself, very quickly. It's songs that make you almost want to become a bit introspective are especially powerful. And I'm trying not to show bias here because of the fact that it's affected me personally, because it's a very subjective thing. But the fact that it is affecting at all is definitely a plus. The studio recording, mixing, and mastering is great. The vocals, guitars. The guitars, I was wondering if they're going to get a bit heavier later on because they're a bit thin sounding in the first chorus part. It's almost like we were floating. I just realized now that we had dynamic range to this track and we weren't trying to give everything in that earlier section there, which is a smart idea in retrospect. I think the way the vocals, guitars, bass, and drums were sort of placed in the frequency spectrum as well as in the stereo field were great. There weren't any weird resonant frequencies, and the leveling in general with the mix was really well done. There was definitely dynamic range to the track. Things weren't the same loudness. And the studio recording, the bus compression and limiting was handled really well. And the vocals were just great takes. They could clearly sing. There was a bit of, some reverbs or some light effects on it to make it sort of fit more in the mix, but there was nothing to actually fix the performance that they could just clearly sing. But again, thank you for watching my review of this track from an act named Surefire Method, titled Jackpot, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and their YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need to help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.